Welcome, everyone. I'm glad to see everyone here tonight. Our first meeting of 2022. And boy, it's a big meeting. I'd like to we have a lot of guests tonight. And could you, wonder if I should read them off. You could raise your hand and we'll see. We have maybe I'll read them off. We have as guests that I know of, Ron Galperin, Brandon Murphy, Sharon Henry, Cheryl Suddeth, Bradley Bottoms, Lori Wilson, John McDougall, Caber, Casper, I can't read my writing, I hope that's correct. And we are fortunate to have our Congressman Germain is going to be giving his own ex officio report tonight. So we're glad to have him. And are there any other guests that I haven't mentioned?
Hi, yes, this is Assemblymember Mark Levine.
Oh gosh, yeah, your name's on here. Sorry.
It's okay. Good evening. Thank you so much.
Welcome. So we're looking forward to hearing from you in a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
So anyone else? So welcome everyone. And we're going to begin with land acknowledgement.
Okay.
Thank you. Our parliamentarian, Lynette Henley, is going to read that for us.
Great. Thank you, Margie. Good evening, everyone. We pause to acknowledge that Solano County Central Committee of the Democratic Party sits on the land of the Miwok and Powhatan people. We remember their continued connection to this region, give thanks to them for allowing us to live, work, learn, and pray in their traditional homeland. We offer our respect to their elders and to the Miwok and Powhatan people of the past and present. Thank you, Margie.
Thank you. Next, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Our information officer will put up a flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, everybody.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, someday.
And our secretary is not here today, and taking her place is Paula Bauer, is taking minutes. Paula, is there a quorum?
yes, there is a quorum.
So first of all, we have approval of the agenda for this evening. So did everyone have a chance to take a look at the agenda?
So moved.
Actually, wait, don't go so fast. There's a change that needs to happen with the logistics meeting. Carrie Birdseye is the chair of that committee, not myself. So she will be giving that report, and she needs to go on that going forward. She and John Fox are the chairs.
Which committee, Tom?
The meeting logistics committee.
Logistics committee. Thank you.
Okay.
I move the agenda with those corrections.
This is Lynette Henley. I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda with the correction. We have a poll.
Yes.
What's going on, Margie?
We usually have a poll.
Oh, a poll, P-O-L-L. I thought you were saying poll, P-U-L-L.
Oh, excuse me. Here we go.
Go.
Could someone send a link to Brigitte? She's trying to get to the meeting and has the wrong Zoom.
I believe the secretary sent that out. I will resend it to her.
Thank you. So is our poll completed?
Mhm.
For the agenda?
Has everyone voted? I guess so. Right. So, yay, it's approved. 19.
Okay. Thank you. And would we take a look at the minutes from October? So we haven't had a formal meeting since October, so we need to approve the minutes.
So this is Lynette Henley. I move the approval of the October 27th, 2021 minutes. And I'm only moving those because I was not at the December meeting.
I'll second that, Margie. This is Paula.
Do we vote on that, information officer?
Yep, just a minute. I gotta adjust the poll. So this is just for
The October
October.
27th meeting, yes.
Okay. Do we have motions for the others so we can do it in one poll as opposed to? Was anyone here?
I'll
at
move the
all of them?
September minutes.
I'll second the December minutes. So they're moved and seconded by Steve Young and me.
So you can do one poll now.
Okay.
I just wasn't at the December meeting and I couldn't move to do that approval.
Okay.
So has everybody voted?
Madam Chair, Lynette Henley has her hand up. Can she be recognized?
Yes. Lynette Henley?
Thank you. We had asked that we have some kind of designation of those voting members of the Central Committee in both Alameda and Contra Costa. If you're a member of the Central Committee, there's a check or something by your name so that people that are not members are not able to vote, so that we can ensure that we're getting the vote of the Central Committee members only and not the public too. So if we could work on that. And I know Kenji from Contra Costa, if you're not sure how to implement that, would be able to help you with that. Tom.
All right. Okay. Looks like everyone has voted. Going on mute.
So right now we're on the honor system, and if you're a member of the Central Committee, you can vote. If you're an alternate and the member that you represent is not here, then you can vote.
Madam Chair, that motion passed. He flashed it. You may have missed it.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it passed with one abstention.
Thank you.
Lynette,
So
did you
let-
have a follow? I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Sorry.
Lynette's hand fell up. I was gonna make sure
Thank
she
you.
didn't have a question. Okay.
So let's move on to the candidate introductions. And I'd like to start with Mark Levine. I'm sorry, I forgot to say your name originally. So
Thank you, Margie. Let me
Welcome.
make sure we set the parameters for speeches. So those of you that are here for candidate introductions, you will get 3 minutes. I will be timing. And then hopefully you'll hear the little ring-a-ding-a-ding saying your time is up, and you can kind of finish your sentence, and then we're going to be going on to the next person. So please try to honor our request. We have a very full agenda and a lot of candidates that are here. So you hold on 1 second, Mark. I can tell you, I started my timer when you say your first words. Okay, whenever you're ready.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening, Democrats. It's nice to join all of you. I'm Assemblymember Mark Levine. I have been serving in the Assembly since 2012. I represent nearby counties, Marin and Sonoma. So I drive through your lovely county every day when I drive to Sacramento. I got involved in insurance issues after the 2017 fires that affected the entirety of the whole state. Then Insurance Commissioner Dave Jones asked me to author 3 bills, all of which became law to help fire survivors. Ever since that time, I've been struggling with how to make our health insurance, but homeowners insurance marketplace stronger. And I've been hearing from my constituents, friends, neighbors throughout my district, but also people across the state, that they're getting non-renewals, that they're getting canceled, that they've got skyrocketing rates, and no one working to help resolve this. A complete lack of interest by the current insurance commissioner to roll up his sleeves and get involved to help people. But in fact, a lot of willingness to help his campaign donors from the insurance industry. So rather than just wring my hands about this, I've authored legislation. I've decided to run for insurance commissioner because I believe that we actually can do something to strengthen the insurance marketplace for all Californians, to make sure that we can protect people in their largest investment they've ever made, the place where they're raising their family, the place that they call home, the place where they go to sleep at night. And so I'm asking for your support in the California Democratic Party endorsement that's going to take place in March. I'm grateful to be endorsed by the California Nurses Association, amongst others, and ask for your support and endorsement as well. Thank you.
Thank you. You still have another minute, so I'm going to stop the timer.
Oh, great. Well, I was proud.
Would like to do Q&A for a minute?
I'd love it. Thank you.
Okay. So Margie, if you want to recognize.
The vice chairs will call on people. Use the raise hand function, please.
Steve Young, you're recognized. And then after Steve, Paula Bauer.
Yes, Assemblyman Levine, thanks for coming, first of all. I'm excited that you've joined the race. I'm glad that you have brought out some of the inconsistencies of the current insurance commissioner, and I'd be happy to endorse you personally. I'm the mayor of Benicia, and I hope that the Central Committee will do the same. And if you want to contact me offline, I'll figure out how to get you that endorsement to you.
My email address is mark@marklevine.org, and anyone can reach me at that. Thank you, by the way, Mayor Young.
Sure.
If I have time, I have a quick question. This is Paula Bauer. What's your position on the rooftop solar issue that's in front of the CPUC right now?
Oh, I believe it's misguided. I believe that, of course, we don't want to make energy costs more expensive for anybody, but that's PG&E's choice to push those costs to other households. People have invested in solar. They've made a choice to spend more money to make the state emissions reduced, to help make a positive change for climate change. And so it's wrong to go and say, you've made that investment based on that premise. Let's go change what we said that experience was going to be, simply because PG&E, and I've voted against both of their bailouts, decide to raise rates on other customers. So we got to call PG&E out for, again, their lies. They are serial arsonists, and we should not trust what PG&E is pushing.
Thank you.
I appreciate that you like that, Lynette. It's serious though, sadly.
All right, that's time. It doesn't look like there are any other hands. Did Mayor Young already have his opportunity?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Mark, and we're back in the hands of our chair.
Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Our next speaker is Brandon Murphy.
Yes, hi. Thank you very much for having me tonight. It's actually Braden Murphy, but
Oh,
that's
sorry.
okay. Very common
Braden
mistake.
Murphy.
Very common mistake. Perfectly fine.
Welcome.
Yes, hi. So my name is Braden Murphy. I live in Folsom, which is Sacramento County, and I'm running in the very large BOE District 1, which starts at Siskiyou and goes all the way down to San Bernardino County. And with redistricting, you guys just made the cut, so I'm here tonight to talk to you guys. My wife and I have 4 kids. The oldest 2 we adopted from foster care, and the younger 2 are biological and under 2. So my family is very lucky to have the home that we live in Folsom, where my kids can go to good schools. And I'm extremely fortunate that my parents basically gifted us the down payment necessary to buy the home. And I realize that is so fortunate and so lucky. And so that's why I'm running for the Board of Equalization. In just a 3-minute thing, it's kind of complicated to explain, but my staffer will link some information to my website where you can learn more about the BOE. But basically, it oversees property taxes. When Prop 15 was on the ballot in 2020, Schools and Communities First, I worked for that. I thought that big corporations should pay more to go towards our schools and fire departments. And I thought it was crazy that big corporations continue to pay the same 1% that a single mom does if she saves for years to buy a condo. When Prop 15 failed, hyper-conservative incumbent Ted Gaines called it a big win for Californians. Now, of course, I disagree. I think that starved our schools and it starved our communities at the hands of Jeff Bezos. So I'm very proud to put a Elizabeth Warren progressive campaign on what equal means, and I want to stand up for middle-class taxpayers to make sure they know how to fight their tax bills if they don't agree with the value, or to stand up for those that have been victims of wildfire. At the same time, to make California's biggest corporations pay their fair share. A lot of people for a long time have thought this is not a winnable race. Ted Gaines only won by 2.5% in 2018. Gavin only lost the district by 0.5% in 2018. And for the first time ever in a midterm, we're going to have all mail-in balloting. So you guys are a big blue beacon of hope in the large district. And I'm hoping that when we win the more populated areas, even though we'll struggle in the hills, we'll be able to retire Republican incumbent Ted Gaines. We are a grassroots campaign, no corporate money, average donation of $40. So if you guys would like to make a contribution, that would be great. Most importantly, I'm the only Democrat in the race, though. And so come the first week of March, I ask for you to endorse me so we can have a united Democratic Party to fight for more equity in our property tax system and get rid of hyper-conservative Ted Gaines. I'm not exactly sure how much time that was, but if I have another minute and somebody has a question, I'll be happy to answer, and thank you very much.
Okay, use the raise hand, Vice
So
Chairs.
hold on, Margie, let me get it to a minute so we can make sure he gets his time. Okay, go ahead. Are there any questions?
I see no questions.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much. My staffer put more information about the BOE, and I hope you guys will join this progressive campaign to retire Republican Ted Gaines. And thank you for all your activism. And I'm so glad you guys are included in the district. Thanks for listening tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Braden. Okay, moving on. Alex Padilla.
Is he here?
I think he sent.
He sent in a recorded one, so if you would hold on while I get that handled. Oh. Oops, if I click share.
Hello, Democrats. It's so great to be with you today. Now, I appreciate the opportunity to join you virtually, but trust me, I hope to see you all in person as soon as possible. I want to start by thanking you for your continued advocacy and for your commitment to building a better, more equitable future for all of us. There's so much that we've fought for this past year alone: COVID recovery, our Build Back Better agenda, and the issues that are paramount to us all: voting rights, healthcare, and climate action. I've worked hard to advance these issues in Congress because I know that it's time that we deliver for the American people. That's why I've been a proud supporter of the Freedom to Vote Act, the Green New Deal, and Medicare for All. And I've tirelessly called for an end to the filibuster in order to get it done. Now, with the recent passage of the infrastructure deal, we've made significant strides, but there's still a long way to go. That's why I'm humbly asking for your support for another term in the U.S. Senate, so that I can continue to advocate for the issues that matter most, like ensuring that our economic recovery is inclusive and puts working families first. With so many families struggling to get ahead, we have a moral obligation to push bold and progressive policies that will bring them relief. We also have a moral obligation to continue fighting for immigration reform so we can bring relief to the millions of undocumented immigrants who make our country better and our federal government deems essential. Now, I won't give up until it's done, because these issues, all these issues, are personal to me. As a proud son of immigrants from Mexico, I never imagined that I would have the privilege, the honor, to serve as your United States Senator. But I understand the tremendous opportunity and responsibility that I have in this office, so that everyone has a chance to live their American dream. But I can't do it without your help. As the California Democratic Party convention nears, I hope that I can count on your endorsement and your support in 2022. And with both our House and Senate majorities on the line in the midterm elections, we have to do everything we can to turn out the vote and ensure that President Joe Biden has the support that he needs in Congress to move our country forward. I'm honored to count on you as partners in this fight. Please reach out to my campaign if you have any questions as the convention nears. Thank you again. I hope to see you very soon.
All right. Thank you, Senator Padilla.
And he actually did it under 3 minutes.
Okay, next we have Lori Wilson. Lori, welcome.
Good evening. Well, thank you for hosting me tonight and letting me speak during this time to introduce my candidacy. I'm Lori Wilson. I am the mayor of Suisun City, proudly serving as a leader in Suisun City for the last 12 years, from just starting as a commissioner to now mayor. I've also had the opportunity to serve on the Central Committee a long time ago now, both as an elected Central Committee member and appointed. And so I know what it means to be in the election season and working hard on behalf of Democrats on both sides, whether it's the candidate or, all of the strong people who are supporting candidates like me. So I am running for Assembly District 11. And in the old seat, we do have a special election that's just coming up in about 69 days on April 5th, Tuesday. And I am running to represent both Solano County, the 4 cities in Solano County, as well as the 4 cities in the unincorporated areas in Contra Costa, and also the unincorporated areas in Solano County. And I'm really excited about this opportunity to represent us in this seat, as well as in the general primary, which is taking place on June 7th. And that's going to be in the new district, which is the whole of Solano County, which is happening for the first time in 30 years, and portions of Oakley and the unincorporated areas of Contra Costa. I'm sorry, all of Oakley and the unincorporated areas of Contra Costa, which includes Byron and Discovery Bay. And what's really neat about the new district is how much aligned having the small city of Oakley, which is similar to a small city like mine in Suisun City, as well as the unincorporated areas are very much aligned to the issues that we face in our district. And so we have had broad support on this campaign trail from Congressman Thompson and Garamendi to the assembly members. I've had the former Assemblymember Frazier, Grayson, Aguiar Curry, Senator Bill Dodd. We've gotten the Speaker of the Assembly, Speaker Rendon, as well as recently of our Lieutenant Governor sign on to this campaign. So I'm really excited about this opportunity and to really leverage what I've been able to do in Suisun City as a local leader and take that to the state to work on behalf of all of you and the rest of the district. And so I'm open to any questions that you may have. Most of you know me, but I am looking forward to just the continued engagement over the next few months of the campaign trail. And of course, if I should be successful thereafter. And so open for any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Don't see any, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Lori.
Oh, no,
Sorry.
Hands, there are two hands.
And
Michelle?
Mayor Young is only allowed to give me his, he's already given me his endorsement. He's only allowed to talk about that. He can't ask me a question.
Okay,
Sorry,
now we have three hands. Michelle?
Hi, thank you so much for coming, Lori. I'm also interested in what you think about the solar, the CEP, whatever it's called, the Utilities Commission. Their suggestion that solar people pay.
Yeah, I have not followed that at all. And literally when you asked the question and Mark Levine, Assemblymember Levine answered, I literally put that down as a note to follow up on and learn more about it. So I'm happy to do my work to make sure I understand that fully and so that I can take a position on it. But I just heard about it tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Young?
Yes, Lori, you're right. I did endorse you and I'm still endorsing you. My question is, has anybody else declared in the Democratic primary?
No one's declared in the Democratic primary, and the filing period did open for the Democratic endorsement, and I'm the only declared candidate seeking that endorsement. And so that is coming up on February 5th. People are doing their ballots right now. So we're out there, working to get the votes. And then February 12th is the one for the general from June most for June.
All right.
And so far we've had no one else announce or declare their candidacy or pull paper.
Should be smooth sailing for you.
I hope so, but it's up to the voters. I'm going to
That's
cross my fingers, cross my eyes, and cross my toes.
Okay, Kevin McNamara?
Discuss your feelings about the Delta Conveyance Tunnel, the water tunnel.
Yeah, Northern California, we have to protect our water. Simple.
Okay.
Absolutely simple. And I'll do whatever I can on both sides to make sure that happens. Absolutely.
I see no more hands.
Well, I'll just say this, if I can, if I have any little bit of time left, is go to electlorywilson.com to learn more about me, to sign up to volunteer, to donate, and to ask me any question you may have. And you can also follow me on Facebook at Elect Lori Wilson. Just look for me there.
Great, thank you, Lori.
Thank you. You guys have a wonderful evening.
Lynette, I see you speaking, but you were on mute.
Thank you. Yes. Madam Chair,
Yes.
we're back.
Okay. So Ron Galperin is our next speaker.
Good evening, Democrats. I'm Ron Galperin, and I serve as the elected controller of the city of Los Angeles, now running to be your next California state controller. And I want a state that works for everyone and government that works for everyone. I want to thank the chair, and also as a CDPE board member, a member of my county central committee, I want to thank you for your dedication and passion to our party and to the values that we share of a more equitable and sustainable and inclusive and just future. Perhaps the most important manifestation of what our values really are is our budget. And our state budget, as you probably know, is more than $250 billion a year. 2021 was a really tough year for working people and for the unemployed and for women, communities of color, our LGBTQI community. We've seen economic and food and housing insecurity, inadequate access to medical care, deep racial inequalities, an environment in peril, which is something of great concern to me as the father of twins who are just 2 years old, along with my husband, Zach, and also the attacks that we've seen on immigrants. And I'm very concerned about that, especially being the first in my family to be born in this country. How do we address these challenges? And we have to do so with budgeting and spending that truly reflects our priorities. And that's exactly the kind of job that I've done for the last 8 years as controller for the city of LA, the second biggest city in the country. And I'm proud of what we've done, revolutionizing our office with transparency, with data, with dashboards to make government more responsive, with resource hubs for information that connects people with the resources that they need, tracking federal and state dollars, working on issues such as housing and homelessness, and making sure that those dollars are being put to their best possible use, which unfortunately is not always the case. We created the first ever equity index, which looks at the needs in every community. I want to do this for the state. And also a big believer in mapping resources, everything from government-owned properties that can be used for housing to oil maps so that we know who's responsible for what in your own backyard, LGBTQ youth services, and much more. And the controller, of course, sits on more than 6 dozen different state boards and commissions, which have a tremendous impact on each and every one of our lives. It's a serious job. I'm ready to do it on day one. As soon as I entered this race, I'm proud to have immediately earned the support of Controller Betty Yee, John Chung, a broad swath of people across the state. I would be honored to have your support and your endorsement. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you in the not too distant future in something other than our Hollywood squares, that is Zoom. And I would be honored to have your support at our upcoming March convention, and happy to take any questions. My last advertisement for the day is to go to ronforcalifornia.com, where you can learn a lot more. Thank you so very much.
That is time. That is time. So you have 1 minute for Q&A.
Great.
Great. Any questions?
Madam Vice Chairs, I don't see any hands. Do you?
Nope, I don't see anything in the chat either.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
my pleasure. Thank you so very much. Have a great rest of the meeting.
Good evening. Thank you.
Okay, our next guest is Cheryl Sedit. Cheryl,
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you.
Oh.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I am Cheryl Sedit, and I have a few words. Thank you so much for inviting us this evening. I'm going to take it off because I see my glare. You can see me. I can't really see you, but you can see me. And coming here tonight, I wanted to think about how I would introduce myself. And I will tell you these 3 words that I learned when I was very young. It's escucha, sirva, and haz. Or as we say in French, is écouter, servir, faire. In English, it would be listen, serve, and do. As a member of this very district and the only one running for this position who actually lives in this particular district, I'm running for this position for Congress in this new, very new open district of 8. We believe that we need to run on the people's agenda, the people's budget, and that the people's money should be spent on the issues that affect our district and our communities. I am a mom of 3, an equity and disabilities and veterans' rights advocate, a negotiator, and a scientist. But most of all, I'm a community member, somebody who has been working on issues in conjunction with our community for many years. And the people who we work with, the underserved, the underrepresented, the unseen, the unheard, dismissed, we work to demand that the environmental and climate justice, the economic justice, the federal and state living wage laws are something that are deserving of all community members, equity and access to quality healthcare in a single-payer healthcare system, for mental health resources, for trained professionals in every culture. That all of this is possible if we have a representative from this community who knows this community, who will be willing to fight for it. You see, most often we have representatives who come into our communities who are not connected to the entire district and who want to speak for us, but not live among us. We know that not every voice is the voice of the community. So our communities need the right voices at the table. When I was asked to run for this congressional position, it was because my work is known in this community. When the ILWU decided to endorse me for this position, is because the work that I do.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, the time has exhausted.
Thank you, Madam.
So Cheryl, you get 1 minute for Q&A if there are questions for you.
Yes, Madam.
Vice chairs?
Vice chairs, will you check?
I see no hands raised.
Okay, so if you have a closing remark.
Oh, there's one, Don Laurie, I'm sorry. Don?
Yeah, I was simply going to ask if she wishes to finish her comments in the minute she has remaining.
Is that for me? Yes.
Yes, you have 1 more minute if you'd like.
Yes, I would just like to welcome you to visit our website, and I would welcome your questions and the ability to talk to you more, and I welcome your support in our campaign and as a working class champion for our community. And we will put the information in the chat. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming to our meeting.
Absolutely.
So our next candidate is Sharon Henry. Sharon, welcome.
All right, well, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sharon Henry. I am proudly and excitedly announcing that I am running for Solano County District Attorney. I have been a prosecutor all of my career as an attorney for, it'll be 34 years next month. And I have not only prosecuted many different types of cases, but I've also been a supervisor and manager for probably most of those 34 years. I have supervised, mentored, led, and believed in the deputy DAs who have come under my tutelage. I truly believe that justice is a collaborative effort that is basically spearheaded by the district attorney, but it's important to collaborate with various groups of the community in order to achieve true justice. I bring compassion, I bring empathy, I bring vast experience, and I have the support of a lot of people who I will not name tonight. But my decision, I weighed and balanced my decision for several months. When someone reached out to me in the community in early 2021, last year, and asked me, and I was very flattered. You know, I never really dreamed that I would actually run for district attorney. But the more I thought about it, the more I believe that this is my path, that all of my experiences good and bad, have brought me here today to you, in front of you. And I am proud, as I said, to be a candidate for district attorney in the county that I love. I started my career in my home county in Tulare. I was born and raised to Waits and Lulabelle Henry. My father was a Baptist minister, pastor of a church, Baptist church, for 44 years before he passed away. My parents taught us that the community is the foundation for a successful life and a successful career and just a successful being as a person.
Madam Chair, that's the time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. You have 1 minute for
All right.
Q&A. Hold on. Let's see if there are any questions for you. And if not, I will extend the courtesy that Don suggested for 1 more minute. There's
We
one.
have one hand. Kevin McNamara.
You're muted, Kevin.
Good evening. Last summer, the grand jury brought a report about the county sheriff's department and problems with members of the department being racist. As prosecutor, can you do anything about seeing that they get proper training or possible removal?
Yes, so it is my intention, when I win, to regularly meet with the chiefs of police in Solano County, as well as the sheriff. And because I think that, well, I should tell you what do you want to hear what my slogan is? My campaign slogan?
You have 10 seconds.
Okay, it's truth, justice, and community. For truth, justice, and community. And that's what I believe in. And trust, having that public trust is so important. And I think law enforcement, there are aspects that, yes.
I hate to get
trained. I'm sorry, I'm a lawyer. Sorry.
It's unfortunate that your time is up. And
well, thank you for the opportunity.
Sure. We're back in the hands of the chair.
Okay. Well, that is the last of the candidate introductions. Although we have John Garamendi is here tonight, and I had suggested that he had asked to speak during the ex officio reports, but we could ask, if he's here, we could ask him if he wanted to speak during the candidate.
We can give him 3 minutes during his ex officio report as opposed to 2. Okay. If he's
well, I think if he's here, maybe he'd like to speak.
And Margie, this is Bradley with Congressman Germain. Unfortunately, he's having rural broadband issues. So I have him on speakerphone here, though, and he can certainly speak now or during ex officio reports, whatever works for everyone.
So Bradley, he can get 3 minutes now, and then he can get and do his campaign speech. And then when he gives his report, he can talk about what's going on in the district for 2 minutes.
Great. I will pass the floor off to John Garamendi.
Okay.
Good. Hey, thank you guys so very, very much. I am really burned that the AT&T has let us down once again. One of the things that we have in our infrastructure bill is a whole lot of money for rural and urban broadband, but it's not there today, and therefore my total internet system crashed. So I want just to spend just a couple of minutes with all of you. I am so excited about this new 8th congressional district, almost as excited as I am about the existing district that I have. Which has been just a marvelous opportunity to really push the water systems and the agriculture and the climate change, as well as the educational programs that you see. The new district I will have Fairfield and Sassoon City, which I have the joy of representing for more than 12 years now, adding in Vallejo and Benicia, and then over into Contra Costa County, starting with Antioch, which I represented in 2009, 10, and 11, and El Cerrito and Kensington on the western end, and everything in between. Richmond and Pinole and Martinez and Pittsburgh and the other communities. It is an exciting district. Everything that I have done over the last decades on public policy are in play here. Healthcare issues, fundamental healthcare access issues, issues of economic development, 5 refineries that are going to eventually have to change, because we're going to do climate change in a real way in California. We're going to go to non-carbon sources of energy. And so what are we going to do about those 30,000 jobs that have existed at those refineries, as well as the tax base there? This is an incredible challenge of economic development and opportunity and training programs that I've worked on forever. On the climate side, boy, I'll tell you, we will go green. We already have in Solano County, the big wind farms. Those will continue. Those will be upgraded over time. And we will also be able to protect Travis Air Force Base as we do that. Solar is in our future, and it has been in our past. The Travis Air Force Base remains in this district. I remain as the ranking member of the Readiness Committee, and I will tell you it is not by accident that the KC-46s are coming to Travis, and over $440 million of construction is underway so that those planes can be properly bedded down at that air base, and the thousands and thousands of jobs that are associated with that, not just in the construction, but also in the long term as we have to deal with the reality of national security. On the national security side, I want to bring to your attention something I've worked on for 10 years. Now.
Kathy, that's the time for the congressman. We have one
I'll come back later and we'll talk about the things. Just a big thank you to all of those. And I look forward to working with all of you again.
There may be some Q&A. You get 1 minute.
Are there questions for John Garamendi?
Bonnie Hamilton.
Bonnie?
Hi there. Is it out of order for me to ask a question that I would, can he finish his statement?
Do you have a question, Bonnie? I can give him the 1 minute for Q&A.
No, I understand.
Well, just to ask a question. What about nuclear?
You know, I'm really focused on climate and protecting our solar here in California. You know, tell me more about what your plan is to protect our environment.
Well, first of all, with regard to solar and wind, back in 1978, I authored the first legislation in the nation on solar and wind tax credits. That started the wind and solar industry in California and frankly across the nation. We have to go green big time. I know from my work in 1996 as Deputy Secretary of Department of Interior that we would be facing this today. We were doing the run-up to the Kyoto conference, and I was responsible for writing a good portion of the American agenda for that conference. We can and we must do this. Solar is absolutely essential. Wind is essential. We need to advance our geothermal. And we also need to make sure that we have conservation in every way. I am moving heavily in my role on the Armed Services Committee to force the military to conserve fuel. And we know that we can do this. I would expect, thank you so very much.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Garamendi. All right, we actually have one more candidate, and that is Wanda Williams. And I had told her, since she's a member of the Central Committee, that she could use the time during announcements. But I feel like that wouldn't really be quite fair since the candidates are all getting 3 minutes. So I'd like to move to Wanda if she's prepared to speak now.
Thank you, President Olson. I appreciate it. Thank you all. And thank you for this opportunity to come before you and talk with you and share with you. Well, once again, I'm Wanda Williams. I'm running for Solano County Supervisor, District 3. I currently serve in the role as council member in Sassoon City alongside Mayor Wilson. As in my role of council member, I have worked very hard to improve the quality of life for those in my district, in my city, by preparing and creating Adopt a Neighborhood, and many other services and programs that have been provided. When I ran for office, I ran and said that inclusivity and would be important to me. And so that has definitely taken place. I make sure that I reach out to my community all the time. I am people-oriented and community-focused. I'm a graduate of UC Davis in a degree of political science. And then the preamble, it says, "We the people." That always has stuck with me. It's a term that is all-encompassing of what America is all about. We all belong. And that is what Solano County should represent. That is why I will champion for our democratic values. We are a unique county because we have open spaces, farming, and Travis Military Air Base, which all need to be protected. Elected, I will be the change agent needed and a progressive voice on the board. I will provide solutions to address homelessness and affordable housing, broadband, and public health disparities. I'm running for County Supervisor District 3 because I'm the change agent needed to take us into the 21st century and who's willing to champion for the needs of those in the 3rd district and the county at large. I will definitely push for equity, diversity of voice, and building bridges between all communities. Thank you.
Okay. If you have Q&A.
Any questions?
I see no hands raised, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Wanda.
And thank you. I wanted to just add, I did put in the chat where you can donate. And this weekend on the 29th and on the 5th of February, we will be going door to door to solicit signatures for in lieu of candidate filing. But for those who aren't comfortable doing that task, please feel free to donate to help offset the cost. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening.
Okay, that exhausts everybody. Her time is up. So we are now on the.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Hear from all these candidates. And next we have a public comment, and I know Gian would like to say a few words to us.
Before we go to public comment, we want to dock the time at 7:53. We have up to 30 minutes, and the speakers have 2 minutes to speak. Okay. So Gian, you are up for 2 minutes. If you can get off of mute. I don't see Gian any longer in the list.
Oh, well, maybe she'll
She
be
was
back.
just there.
Oh, she's here?
No, I mean, she was just there. I think she might have hit the wrong button.
Let's
she's gone.
Go to Kabir, and we can ask for John later. Is Kabir here? Ready to speak?
Yes, he is in the room. Kabir, you're on mute. I've asked him to unmute.
Oh, I think he doesn't want to
speaking.
speak. He just was a guest. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I didn't mean to embarrass you. Okay, so is Gian back, or are there any other public comments?
I don't see any other
I
hands
don't see
raised
Gian.
or Gian.
Okay, and we're moving on to announcements. Are there any
Thank you, Madam
announcements?
Chair, we need to close public comment at 7:55. And now you can continue with your agenda.
Madam Chair, Paula Bowers hands up.
Excuse me, Paula?
Hi, I just wanted to make an announcement. Some of you will remember Kay Woodson. She was previously chair of the Central Committee. She was with the United Dems. She was very active for years. She passed away last month. She was down in Texas with her daughter. And if I think of it when we adjourn tonight, I would adjourn in her honor, but in case I forgot, I thought I had better mention it now. It's my announcement.
Thank you, Paula. Use the hand raise function. Does anyone else have an announcement?
Yeah, I guess I can do my quick, Monica's hands up and then I'll go after Monica.
All right, Monica.
I would like to ask that Kay Woodson's name be added to the list when we meet in March, please.
Oh,
And
yes, I wrote it down.
beg your pardon?
I said I wrote it down.
Oh, no problem.
I'll let the
Paula
party
was gonna
know.
mention that.
Okay. I'll let
But
the party
also Kay, who did she work for? Didn't she work for an assembly person or something? But anyway, we knew her for a long time. So, especially the barbecue United Dems always did.
I'll go ahead and make my announcement right now. The Region 2 Democratic meeting is being held Sunday at 7:30. I wish at 2:30. I will drop the address into the link into the chat, and anyone is welcome to come. Any candidates are also able to come and speak. You get 2 minutes there and 1 minute of Q&A. And we'll have a full agenda, but we'll also have April Verrett from our controller for the state party. She will be speaking, as well as staff, Esteban, who's one of our staff people. He'll also be giving kind of an update where we are on the convention. They're going to make a supposedly drop dead date of whether it will continue in person or virtual. Right now, they're requesting people to still plan on virtual, but the date they gave me is June 28th, but we'll see. So in 2 days, we should know. So Sunday, stay tuned. I'll have breaking news from the Democratic Party, but the link is there. If you go to condemn.org, you can also find it there. Monica's hand is up, I think, again.
Yes, sorry. I apologize. Oh, I haven't. Did you say 2 o'clock is when the meeting starts?
It's 2:30.
2:30. Okay, so you realize, of course, there's
Yes.
football. Just FYI. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
All I'm saying.
I've seen all kinds of, what do you call it? Raspberries about it. So yeah.
Okay,
That's it. Looks like that's it on announcements. So we're on to reports. And remember, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, announce reports, and we'll use the hand raised function. So actually, with the executive board, I just want to
Madam Chair,
yeah.
There's an item in announcements called dues for 2022.
Oh gosh, yes. And I was going to have Jeanette speak to that, and of course she's not here. And Morgan, would you like to speak to it? Is Morgan here?
I haven't seen him.
No. So the dues, as we've adopted them, are due in April, but the link will be up so we can all get started on paying our dues. That's for every member of the Central Committee, $35.
And that's alternates and members. Correct.
And appointees, everybody.
Appointed, yeah.
So everybody,
I will post a link to where you
Everybody-
can pay that
yeah.
in the chat. I
Okay,
believe
so
the
we can- yeah,
secretary
it's-
has sent it already.
It's good to get going. This is almost the end of January. So always, if you think you have lots of time, time's up before you know it. For reports, I want to say I'm really pleased that the ex officios have sent us their written reports. I asked them, especially this month, with all of the guests and all the length of time that we have to spend on the meeting, that it's really nice to get these written reports. And I hope everyone reads them. I asked the ex officios, the elected officials, to be sure and tell us what they're working on and to tell us if they need help with something. And I think they've all written a terrific amount of things. Bill Dodd, we got a big history. So I really want everyone to be sure and read those. I contacted Erin Hannigan because she doesn't have a representative at this time, and she will be getting us a representative soon. And she told me that her main things that she's working on is having equity-based employment in the county, and that she's very proud of the work that she's done on the first 5. So, and I expect we'll be hearing more from her as we go. The other thing I want to say is I really want, I know I send you all these mobilized trainings. Please look at them because it's really important. We can always do better. I'm really trying to make our central committee more functional, and I know all of you are on board with that. And I think it's really helpful to go to these trainings through Mobilize. Take a special look at the ones that are run by people in Contra Costa. They seem to be really on the ball with this, and they have really, really good trainings. There's also things to do, you know, postcard writing and tabling and things that would be interesting to everyone. Okay, any other ex officio? I mean, any other executive board?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to present my report. I sent it to Jeanette, but it was probably too late today, but I did post it in chat for anyone who would like to see it. The biggest thing is that we have our Zoom renewal that is coming up February 10th, and we need to make a motion to approve that because it is over the amount that I can expense, and it is for $299.80. That is with a 20% discount for doing a yearly.
And that's for the year?
Yes, so
Are you moving that, Tom?
yes, if we could
And
move
this-
to renew for 1 year.
I second his motion to approve, to purchase another full year of Zoom.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we pay for our Zoom renewal. Sad as it is that we may have to do another year of Zoom. Is there a poll for that?
Yes.
Information officer?
Coming right up, folks. Okay. All right. It looks like everyone has had a chance to vote. So the motion passed unanimously.
Okay.
Do you want to check with your vice chairs?
Any hands?
No, Northern Vice Chair, do you have a report?
I just want to say that we are still looking for fundraising ideas. We have these candidates that need the party support, the Democratic Party support, and that means dollars as well as some labor. So if you have any ideas, again, please contact me, email me about any ideas that we can raise some money to help our Democrat candidates.
Southern Vice Chair?
Yes, my report will be the resolution for Black History Month. So I'll do it under those actions. Thank you.
And Morgan's not here, is that right?
That's correct, Morgan.
Okay. And I'm parliamentarian and I have no report. So now we're on to ex officio's reports. Margie.
And we're using the hand raise function for our reports rather than calling out everyone individually. So I would like you to raise your hand if you have a verbal report for this evening.
And I see Bradley for the content.
Okay, Bradley.
2 minutes, Bradley.
I was going to say, and we normally have Jana do it, but I have John Garamendi back on the phone. So, sir, the floor is yours.
So you get 2 minutes.
Thank you so very much. I want to go through four things very quickly. First of all, the American Rescue Plan and the Infrastructure Plan are done. The implementation of both are critically important, particularly on the infrastructure. We'll be working with the various cities, counties, to make sure that the implementation is good for Solano County. We have 2 more things to do. The Build Back Better, absolutely critical. We've got to work on that. You're aware of Manchin and Sinema and the problems that they present. But that's where the social infrastructure is in place. And the second thing is the voting rights. Absolutely essential that we deal with the voting rights. Many people have given up. I don't believe in ever giving up on something that's absolutely critical. So I'm going to continue to try to push the Congress and the Senate to take this thing up repeatedly until it actually passes. Finally, with regard to economic development in Solano County, we've been talking forever about the I-80 corridor, transportation issues usually. But there's another thing on I-80, and that is it is the new bio-ag research and manufacturing corridor in California, and I dare say in America, from downtown Sacramento at the University Health System all the way to Berkeley, California. We have an enormous opportunity here. Right now, it is centered in Vacaville, with the University of California, Davis playing the research role, the community college in Vacaville playing the technical training and the development of companies in that area. I want to extend that down into Contra Costa County all the way to Berkeley. There are enormous opportunities here. Also, I do know that the Mare Island is going to be a renewal of the maritime industry at Mare Island. I've been working on this for 5 years. It's no accident that the Coast Guard cutters are being repaired there. That's because I caused that to happen. So thank you so very much for all of you, and a big thank you for all that you guys are doing to keep the Democratic Party active.
We have Bradley Bottoms' hand is up.
That was Gary.
That was for the congressman.
Okay, all right. Cassandra James.
Cassandra, yes. Cassandra?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm just reporting on behalf of the Sankofa Democratic Club, and we will be having our e-board meeting next Tuesday, February 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
So do people know?
Any other reports from elected officials or clubs? And thank you all the clubs who sent in their reports.
I have 3 hands up.
Great. I'd like to hear
Monica Brown, John Fox, Carrie Birdseye, and Mary Young.
I just wanted to state, it'll be in my newsletter for Friday about Valero. And if you know anything about what's going on with Valero, it's bad stuff. Oh, don't put me up here. You don't have to. Okay. Anyway, let's just say that for over 20 years, somebody didn't have a permit. Let's just say that some bad mojo got into the atmosphere, not once, not twice, at least 3 times that we're aware of. And so if you get my newsletter on Friday, there will be more information as well as a link so that you can keep up with when there's going to be a public meeting about it.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor.
Okay, John Fox.
John?
Good evening, thank you. My report for the Vallejo City Unified School District. We just had another training for equity for the, and that was given by the Solano County School Board Association. We represented, worked with all 6 districts here in Solano County, and Nicole Anderson and Deborah Keys Wright were our speakers. This was our second series on equity. At this series, we talked about equity statements within each of the school districts, and we were looking at what gaps are holding us back with equity and how to come up with plans to overcome those gaps. Our next stage in this equity series is going to be looking at student speakers and try to get about hopefully 2 student speakers with each of the districts in Solano County and continue the forum on working with equity, improving equity, and definitely hearing from our students what their concerns are. Beyond that, we're even thinking of taking it to our county supervisors, our police, our city councils, our local mayors, and all stakeholders to also get them in these discussions on equity in our schools for our students. And Vallejo City Unified, we're still working on our strategic plan, moving forward with that and talking with stakeholders. As you know, there's been a great deal of absences unfortunately, with our students and with staff with COVID. And it's just trying each day to just staff our classes. It's a real struggle. Sending home lots of test kits right now for our students and their families. And again, every day is a struggle. Thank you very much. That's my report.
Thank you, John.
Mayor Young. Oh, no, Carrie Birdseye. I'm sorry. Carrie Birdseye.
Thank you. I'll be brief. My report on behalf of the Progressive Democrats of Benicia. Last month, we hosted our new Congressman Germain. We had a lively discussion and good Q&A with our entire membership that attended. Upcoming in February, we also had a members only portion of the meeting where we are discussing a possible name change, and there has been no action taken, but if that happens, we will report to this body and update our bylaws as needed. February 8th, we're going to have a panel discussion on the proposed biofuel conversions at 2 Bay Area refineries and attempt to explain the biofuel situation and also the difference in hydrogen production at refineries. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Young.
Yeah, I was, Monica talked a little bit about the issue at Valero. She probably undersold the seriousness of it. It had been going on for about 16 years, undetected, unreported to the Air District. And the Air District found out about it in 2019. Valero started to make some repairs at that time, but did not make enough to satisfy the Air District. What I'm most upset about is that the city never knew anything about this. That this had been, not only that the admissions had been going on for 16 years, but that the negotiations for this abatement order were happening between the Air District and Valero, and that all this work was going on. And so we're hopeful to get the Air District to come to a council meeting in a couple of weeks to talk about this issue. I don't know if Valero will attend or not. They'll certainly be invited. So there's more to come on this. And then the other thing I'll report on is that last night we had a joint council meeting with the Planning Commission that was all about housing and the housing element preparation and the RENA process. And we also had a good discussion about our inclusionary ordinance. And we are the only city in Solano County that has an inclusionary ordinance. And so a lot of the discussion would be around how can we tighten it to make sure that when housing developers come into our city to build housing, that they are also going to include low and very low income units as part of their development. So it was a 5-hour meeting, but I thought it was very productive at the end. And we're on a very short turnaround, but we're going to be working hard to try to identify sites that we can rezone to allow for up to 750 units. Thanks.
Hey, Matthew Finkelstein. Next speaker, Matthew Finkelstein.
Hey, thank you so much. So I just wanted to report that on February 3rd at 7 p.m. I'll be sharing a Zoom link with you folks. We are going to be resuming meeting with the Jewish Democratic Club. We are going to be having Congressperson John Garamendi in attendance, I'm proud to say. And also in terms of our club activities, on New Year's, we did a joint New Year's celebration, which our club was proud to sponsor with the Vallejo Project for a joint Shabbos and Kwanzaa event that we called Shabanza, which got members of the Jewish community and the Black community together. Some startling revelations, things that I did not know. For instance, the founder of Kwanzaa, whose name escapes me, I should have Googled it before I started talking about this, but the reason they found the holiday was because he was in prison with Jewish protesters during a civil rights protest and on Hanukkah, and actually saw the menorah that they were lighting, and this inspired him, realizing that there was a cultural revolution that could take place on behalf of the American Black community, and it would something that would remember them to their own traditions, to their own way of life, to their own dignity. And that was a very powerful moment for our two communities. I'm really glad that we were able to experience it. And then finally, I just want to add that one of our resolutions on water that we co-sponsored to the party was accepted. This is a resolution that urges California to cooperate with Israel and other countries that have developed water expertise. And we'll be happy. Thank you for the name. Thank you. That's right, Karanga. We'll be happy to share updates as that moves forward. There's going to be some action, we think, on that resolution. We'll be able to build something big from it.
Thank you. Lynette Henley, your hand's raised.
Thank you. I just want to go back to the issue with Valera. In 1970, I was at St. Dominic's in Benicia, and horses and the horses were dying that were over by the finery, and other people in that area. And so we were kind of shocked when they started building all those homes over there because of all of the pollution that was there. So Valero's was bought by whoever was there first. And this is not surprising, but it's, the part it's not surprising that we didn't know about it, because they were like, oh, we don't know what happened. And now that it's, it's kind of reoccurring. So if you guys go back to the 70s, you can see some of the reports that came out of there, also coming from that same refinery location under another name. So just a FYI, thank you.
It was Exxon before.
Thank you. So this is nothing new. This is just a continuation. Thank you, Monica.
Okay, so any more reports from elected officials or clubs?
Madam Chair, I see no more hands.
Oh,
who spoke up? Someone spoke up? No? Okay. No hands are raised in the chat.
okay. And as far as state party, I think Lynette already announced the meeting and talked about the convention. All right, committee reports. So, and thank you for those of you who sent in written report. And if you would like, if you're a committee chair and you would like to, or a committee member and you would like to make an oral report, please use
Madam
the
Chair,
raise hand function. Yes.
There's a hand raised.
Okay.
Lynette.
Thank you. This is for the state party report. Yes, we're having the regional meeting on January 30th, but on February 5th, there's a pre-endorsement meeting. If you are currently, these are the two clubs, our Northern Democratic Club. You have 3 delegates. They will be voting on that. They should have received their ballots. And then the other club will be Marsh Creek. They have 3 delegates. And then it's the A-Demolectic delegates to the state party. So the only pre-endorsement meeting that's happening for Region 2 is the AD11. So so you should receive 2 ballots, one for the February 5th meeting, and then a second one for the February 12th meeting. Say that fast. So that I just wanted to, bring that to your attention. And if you haven't, if you're an ADEM and have not gotten your ballot, let me know. If you're an appointed for AD11 and haven't gotten your ballot, let me know so we can make sure that you all have been able to vote. And I have to say that Margie has already turned in her ballot, and I think Don Lowry also has already turned in his ballot. So thank you.
Yeah, and let me just add a little bit to what Lynette just said, because it is confusing. The first ballot, the one on the 5th, that is for the existing AD11. And then the one that's on the 12th is for the new AD11. So I know some of you are thinking, well, I'm in AD11. Well, you will be in AD11. So if you didn't get a ballot for the 5th, you should look for your ballot for the next one. So, because at first, well, as Lori was saying, she's running to replace Jim Frazier, and then she's running for the new Assembly District. Okay, so let's move on to committee reports. So, I'm going to let the vice chairs go. I do see some hands.
Michelle's hand is up, and she also had a question in the chat. So I don't know if she wants to speak to that one. Go ahead, Michelle.
Oh, thanks. I put a note in the chat to Lynette. I haven't received any ballots. So that's all.
You won't get yours till the 12th for the full AD11, the new one.
Well, one should get it before the 12th, I would think. But you're saying I don't.
Okay, so let me clear that up. Those ballots don't go out till February 3rd. That's my understanding.
Okay, so then I will just be voting in the new.
Right.
11. Okay, got it. Great. So now my hand's just up for my committee report whenever people want to do that.
Okay, Richard White, is your hand up for a report?
That's Jeannie. Just didn't
Oh,
change
Jeannie.
her name.
Sorry, Richard and I share the Zoom. I didn't even notice. I'm Jeannie White, and I am making the report for the Club Coordination Committee this evening. We have finished our handbook adaptation, and we have submitted it to the Bylaws Committee for their consideration. The committee made the decision to meet on an as-needed basis in response to needs of the Central Committee and its members. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jeannie.
I don't see any more hands. Unless Michelle, is your hand
Michelle
up
wants
again?
to give a report, I think. Yeah.
I do, right. I need to give the COVID committee report.
Okay.
Is that
Michelle?
okay? Yeah. Okay, so I don't know if people had a chance to read through the report, but I'm sure everyone's aware that we're in another surge with the Omicron. It's put us back to the pre-vaccine numbers there because it's so contagious. Nationally, there have been more deaths during the Omicron surge than the Delta surge, which is kind of surprising. Last week in Solano County, there were over 6,000 cases of the Omicron, and The same time in December, it was like 300. So you can see that there's a huge difference. The thing is just so contagious. There's some data that's showing the Omicron may be peaking, but we now have a new variant. I'm sure you guys have read about that, BA.2. And so then the whole cycle starts over again, right? They've got to figure out how contagious is it? Will the vaccine take care of it? Will it protect us from the variant? So the one thing we know is that this thing is constantly changing. And so we need to start taking a long-term view and just keep chipping away at getting better and better at protecting people. Because in Solano County, since we have a health director who is not very proactive on this, I think it leaves it to other people in the county to take responsibility. So one of the things we did was community outreach. And we went to businesses, different businesses, especially restaurants. And we, sometimes we'd walk in, no one was wearing a mask, right? So it was just, other times, I went to one restaurant, I asked the lady to put on a mask and she threw down her pad and left. She was really angry. So yeah. And then some people, they just don't know. They just don't know about the rules. And they have no idea about how contagious this is. So there's a real big.
Oh, the time.
So what we wanted to do was we're kind of saying, what can we do in Solano County to help to kind of fill this gap? And what we did was we wrote a letter, and we'd like the Central Committee to send this to the supervisors. And basically what it's asking for is something very simple, completely non-controversial. It's just on the Solano County Public Health website on their COVID page that they put a link to a downloadable poster that businesses can put on their, on the window next to their door that says you have to wear a mask. So that currently is not on, even though it's on every other county's website, Solano County doesn't have it right on theirs. They have a really embedded link to the CDC mask poster, but a regular business is not going to be able to find that.
Okay, so Madam Chair, we've exhausted the time. And so I guess you're moving that on behalf of the COVID committee to have the county put that at the front page of that. Is that what you're asking, Michelle?
Right. There's a letter that we drafted.
Okay, we haven't seen that, and usually that should go to the executive board. But I'm trying to help expedite it. So you're asking if you could, if that's your motion, that we move that forward and that a letter be sent to support what we're asking. Is that what you're?
That is the motion. Yes.
I'll second it.
That's on behalf of committee, and it doesn't require a second.
Oh, great. Okay.
So we're at discussion now, Madam Chair, about sending a letter to have the mask mandate for businesses put at the front page of the Solano County information.
And I think
we have a link to,
with a link.
With the link on the COVID page, Lynette.
We have a few hands up. Don Lowry.
So my hand's up for when it's time for my committee to report.
Oh, okay. The same with Pat. Pat Smith.
I just wanted to add to what Michelle was saying, because it's not very, everybody's doing different things. And this would be just a really simple, easy measure that people could see the sign before they go in the building, in the store, and they would know what to do. It's just very simple. I think with Omicron and the infectivity, how infectious it is and how much virus it sheds, they've also switched the masks to require KN95s and N95s. So people are confused. They're not really sure what to do. Right now, they haven't said masks have to be KN95 to go into a store. You could still wear whatever mask. So the instructions are still very simple about going in businesses. So this would just be a way people could see it and know before they go in the store. That's it.
Tom, is your hand up on this topic?
Yeah, question just to the committee. Where is the said letter? I don't think we've seen it, so I don't know that we can vote on a letter that we have not.
We're not
seen.
voting
Can we?
The letter was attached, excuse me, I'm sorry,
Oh,
but
what?
the letter was attached to the report that we sent in a week ago that went out to everybody along with the agenda. So you have
Okay.
had the letter.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
thought
thanks.
it had gone out.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry, there are so many attachments.
Thank you, Paula. I think, is that everybody now, except for Don, who's got a report to give?
Yeah. I see no other hands up on this topic, no.
So
I
you
just
can-
want to ask, what is, does it say what's on the poster, exactly what's on the poster? The poster says,
No, the letter doesn't say that.
no, but I mean, isn't that what you're requesting, is that there's a link to the poster that people could download and put in their store window?
Exactly.
But you don't specify what to put on the poster.
Right. No.
Basically, wear a mask.
Monica's hands up.
Who?
If I may, guys, let me have a conversation with Pat and with Michelle, and let me just bring it forward next Tuesday when it's Board of Supervisors. Do you have a report? Then we can eliminate what we're doing right now. I can bring it forward. This is what, my constituents would like to have, and we'll just make it happen.
Great.
Like that better.
That'd be great.
Thank you,
Okay,
Monica.
Thank you, Monica.
Monica, do you have a copy? You have the letter. It was part of the attachments, okay? She got a thumb up. Okay.
So we're going to not make that motion. We're basically going to discard it. I don't know how you discard a motion. But the other thing that I just wanted to bring up is that if people, most of us on the committee are in South Vallejo, or in the southern part of the county, but we're really interested in what people on the committee, how they experience it in their cities. And so if you want to get back to any of us and talk about that, then that would be very helpful for us.
Just what we're seeing when we go out.
Yeah, well, for example, does your city have any kind of anything on their website? What are the politics like? Do you feel comfortable going into a restaurant? Are people wearing masks? Do you feel like, just your general impression of what's going on?
Okay, I think we can do that. And I guess we better go to Don, would like to make his report.
Yes, to keep it very simple, the endorsement committee has not yet met for two reasons. One, there were technical difficulties opening the file that Tom sent me till about a week ago. And more importantly, I wasn't interested in doing anything politically related over the holidays, and I didn't think anyone else would be either. If you are interested in serving on the endorsement committee so that we can circulate the questionnaire and do the prep work, please send me a message in chat or email me, and we'll set up a meeting via Zoom. Just forewarning, it will most likely be on the weekend because my weeknights are way too packed. So just do that, and we will be reporting out next month. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Don. Thank you for taking this on. Any other reports?
Carrie's hand is up.
I see Carrie's hand.
Thank you. I'm reporting out on behalf of the Meeting Logistics Ad Hoc Committee. At our last meeting, we had an election for new officers. John Fox is vice chair. They voted me as chair. I'm reporting to say, because of the news that we just heard from Michelle and Pat, we are not currently looking for physical on-site places to meet right now. We had rich discussions in the last quarter of last year about the need for a hybrid version of online meeting with in-person meeting when it's safe. Our next meeting isn't until March 15th. Until we get the virus under control, we plan to meet quarterly moving forward. Hopefully at our March meeting, we will change all of that and get serious about looking for a place to meet in person. I miss that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we can move to new business. California Democratic Party Convention, I think we've mentioned it over the course of this, but be sure to register, watch to see if it's going to be in person or not. And be sure to pay your dues. That's something I can't remember if Lynette mentioned that, but your vote doesn't count if you haven't paid your dues. So be sure to pay your dues for the state party. Okay, and then we have Black History Month proclamation brought forward by Tiffany Jones, Vice Chair.
Good evening, everyone. Hopefully you received a copy of the proposed proclamation draft. And so just looking for any feedback. And if there's no feedback, we would like to have this as an action item. I'll take any questions, suggestions at this time.
This is
I
Paula.
see
move
Don's
that we
hands up.
adopt it. I'm sorry, I should have raised my hand.
Don, is your hand up for this subject
Yes.
matter? Okay, Yep. Recognized.
Yeah, there were two questions and I'll defer to the author, but my impression was that the current preferred style book was to use the phrase Black and as opposed to African Americans, and then the other was to use the phrase enslaved person rather than slave, because slave dehumanizes the individual. So that was just my two comments if we were going to be on the text, but otherwise it looked great and I appreciate you bringing it forward.
Paula, you recognized?
I was just going to move that we adopt it.
So I guess my question is, does the committee feel okay with, I mean, myself as a Black person, I identify as both. I am African American, I am Black. But I'll make the changes if that would make the committee comfortable.
Can I second it with the corrections? Is that out of order, parliamentarian? Oh, she's.
That you're
The
muted.
motion was made, was there?
Yep.
Yes, there was a
Yeah, the
motion made
motion
to
was
accept.
made to adopt it. And-
Right, but I mean, not about changing, which is what
No.
Jeanette was
Right.
asking. Or Vernio was asking.
You move a substitute motion.
Mm-hmm.
I move that we accept the resolution with the noted corrections.
You specify those corrections?
The word enslaved. Don, what was using the word enslaved?
I was actually reading the 1619 project, and they were making the point that enslaved person or enslaved human is better language than slave, just because slave tends to dehumanize the individual. And then the other was just the ongoing debate over between Black and African American, and I defer to whichever is preferred. That's not my dog. I just was asking which one we wanted to use.
Issue with that.
But enslaved person was the one I was more focusing on.
Yeah, I don't have an issue being African American or Black.
I move the substitute motion by just changing it to enslaved.
Enslaved person.
Correct, I'll second that. That seems like what the substitute motion was trying to say.
Right. In terms of, again, it's not my thing, but I think it should be consistent in the resolution to either say African American or say Black, and it has both, I think. So I just say go one way or the other, whatever the African American members of the committee feel comfortable with.
Well, we use both, so.
It's interchange.
So I'll go ahead and make the correction to enslaved person, and then I will send the, actually.
Was the motion carried?
No, but I was finishing, I wasn't finished. Okay. I didn't finish making my statement. I'll go ahead and send the, make correction and send it out to our information officer. I forgot the letterhead, Tom, don't shoot me, I'm sorry. That's why it's not all jazzed up, but send it to you and for application. So I'll make that correction now and then send it over to you once it's passed, if it's passed.
All for the question.
It's never been seconded.
I move that we adopt the proclamation and proclaim it, and as everything as amended or changed.
As a second.
Yes, as a second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adopt the proclamation.
With amendments.
With amendments. With the amendment, changing that to enslaved instead of slave.
Okay, looks like everyone has voted.
Okay.
Right, 100%. All right.
Adopting the proclamation.
All right, thank you. I'll go ahead and make those changes. Thank you, everyone. I'll go ahead and make those changes and get it over to you, Information Officer and Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, everyone. And the next thing I have on the agenda is strategic plan. I was thinking the strategic plan. It's basically the functioning of our central committee, and we were going to start with our elections, our endorsing candidates, finding candidates, endorsing candidates, and supporting candidates. And Tiffany offered to chair a meeting, and she was sick during the holidays and unable to hold this meeting on the 20th. So we'll be rescheduling. And Tiffany, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I'll wait till the executive board meeting to get the approval for the rescheduling date. So, and we have no time, but we have a little bit of time since we saw these lovely candidates come through. I think we gotta
Yeah.
got our picks of the litter now. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that was great. Okay, so that's it for the meeting.
I
There's
moved to
no-
adjourn.
Okay.
Second,
I'll second. Oh, third.
Moved in second that we adjourn the meeting. So, do you have a poll for
Wait for
that?
the poll, right, Tom? Wait
Yep,
for the poll.
Who were the first and seconds?
Lynette moved, and I think Tom and Don
yeah, I seconded it, and John third.
thirded.
Okay. In honor of Kay Woodson.
In honor of Kay Woodson.
Honor of Kay
we
Woodson,
adjourn the
please.
meeting.
Thank you. You remembered, Paula.
I did. Every once in a while I come through.
Okay, who abstained on adjourning?
That was an accident. I'm sorry.
Tiffany just wants to be here another 2 hours.
No, I was clicking too fast. I'm sorry.
I love you guys so much that I just was in limbo about like whether or not to end this meeting. I felt like I was being torn, you know? So
Okay, it was Matthew's fault.
Happy New Year.
Happy.
It was Matthew's fault.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Other than the abstention, it passed.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Tom, do you want me to send this to you now?
Yeah.